have been trying to sell fake stories to newspapers. And this is one I tried to sell to the Sun newspaper. I'll just read it to you. I wrote, I was recently walking through London's Soho when I spotted Matt Baker from the BBC One show on his phone in the street. He seemed angry about something, and at one point he was so angry that, to my amazement, he tried to kick a pigeon. He had about 3 attempts, and on one of them he did clip its wing. He was shouting what sounded like, "Die, pigeon, prick." This didn't happen in any way. I've never met Matt Baker. I managed to get some pictures. I was wondering how much you might be interested in buying them for. I got a reply from the Sun newspaper within 2 minutes. They said, Joe, kicking a pigeon, ? That is pretty shitty for a one-show bloke. It's quite colloquial for a first email back, I feel. Can you send me the pictures? Cheers. I can't give his real name for legal reasons, so I'll call him Rodney. I said, Rodney, my lawyer says I shouldn't send you the full pictures until I have an offer from you as to how much you'll pay for them. I've attached a cropped version of one of the shots for the time being. Send that through to him.
Any response?
He replied, that's a photo of a pigeon. Very astute. Here's my photo of a pigeon. He attached that one on the top there. He also attached a picture of Matt Baker and said, can you send me a picture of this man kicking a pigeon? So I sent him a curveball and I just said, is that a picture of Matt Baker? I thought he was Chinese. He replied, you thought he was Chinese, ? You mean you have a picture of a Chinese man kicking a pigeon? I said, yes, how much will you pay for it? He said, I fear we might be wasting each other's time, good day. I said, you'll be sorry when you see tomorrow's Guardian front page, good day.
So I spend a lot of time writing letters, and I found the email address of the CEO of Network Rail. He owns all of the train stations in the United Kingdom. So I genuinely wrote this. Dear Sir, I am contacting you regarding an urgent emergency at London Euston. Last night I enjoyed a prawn masala and garlic naan from a curry house in Peckham. I had concerns about the hygiene standards of the establishment, but was blinded by my hunger and chose to ignore the warning signs. Thus today I have been, as my father would say, pissing through my arse. The reason this is relevant to you is that I currently find myself at London Euston train station without 30 pence. Some of you might be ahead of me on this. As your toilet facilities demand this fee and I am about to explode, I am left in a most perilous position. I have managed to find some privacy and am currently perched behind a bin on one of the platforms near Delichet de France, desperately trying to hold in what I anticipate to be a towering, cascading waterfall of post-masala sadness. I was wondering if you might be able to lend me some of your £675,000 salary. Then I put in brackets, that would buy you 2.25 million train station toilet trips, you lucky bugger. To avoid this impending atrocity. Either that or perhaps stop charging for what most people would consider to be a basic human right. Regards, Joe Lycett. I also put, P.S. Should you lend me the money, I would be delighted to invite you for tea at my home to say thank you. But please give me plenty of notice, as I'll need to install a turnstile outside the bathroom. And I put, P.P.S. You're literally taking the piss. I get a lot of parking fines, and I have realised if you ask for evidence, then often you can get out of the fine. Now, I was up north doing a show, and I got a fine, so I emailed the council asking for the evidence. I got an email from some woman called Steph, who said, Mr. Lycett, I have passed your email on to the Freedom of Information team. Hopefully they'll be in touch with you soon. Now, I didn't like that word, hopefully, so I replied, Steph, sadly, hopefully, doth butter no parsnips. Can I have an email address for the person you have contacted? My lawyers would like to contact them directly. You have been very helpful, and hopefully you won't get caught up in the forthcoming. Forthcoming was sinister enough. He replied, Mr. Lycett, I'm not sure what you mean about buttered parsnips. I've CC'd in the FOI team who will advise. Now, I got an email from someone called Colin who said, Mr Lycett, your request is very broad, so I've assumed you only want information pertinent to your recent parking fine. Attached is the evidence which we have, which are photographs of your car clearly parked in a taxi rank. Now, the photographs they had are of my window, which had taxi rank written on it by presumably a disgruntled taxi driver. But there's actually no evidence of a taxi rank in that photograph. So I went back to Colin, didn't I? And said, Mr. Colin, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I see that your evidence is nothing more than a picture of the words taxi rank written on my car. I would argue this evidence is insufficient. I also put P.S. Apologies for the delay in replying to your previous email. I'm currently on the Costa del Sol. I provided evidence of this, and then I just put this picture... He said, Mr Lycett, in order to reverse the fine, you will need to provide evidence that your vehicle was not in a taxi rank. So I said, oh, Mr Colin, evidence supplied. I was actually parked on the moon, as you can see clearly. I got a reply, Mr Lycett, I've cancelled the fine. Last time I was on this show, I received a little bit of feedback from a viewer who, for legal reasons, we're going to call Brian. I received it about 3 a.m. after the broadcast. The subject was 8 out of 10 cars. Just saw you on the show and had to email you to tell you you are shit. Jimmy Carr is the best thing about that show by miles. You're not even remotely funny. Here's some advice. Find another job. You're a dick. Please consider the environment. Do you really need to print this email? What Brian did, foolishly, is he left his email signature on from his workplace. This is solicitors. So I replied, Dearest Brian, thank you for your email regarding my recent appearance on 8 out of 10 Cars, the spin-off show to the very popular 8 out of 10 Cats. I read with great interest your thoughts on Jimmy Carr. He is indeed a fantastic comedian and broadcaster. As you left your address for your workplace on your email signature, I've had it arranged for a signed photograph of Jimmy to be posted to you to thank you for your feedback. Yours, Joe Lycett. I also put P.S. I will now spend some time considering the environment before printing your emails. He then sent me an email very quickly back. He replied, please don't send me any stuff. This is my workplace. Sorry about the last email. I was drunk. Brian. But regardless, I sent him this picture, which is your picture with my autograph on it. I then replied to him, my beloved Brian, thank you for your apology, but it is unnecessary. If anything, I actually owe you an apology, as I've sent what is clearly my autograph on a Jimmy Carr picture. I practised my signature on leftover photographs of Jimmy, and there must have been a clerical error. I've had Jimmy's signature sent to you first class this morning with my compliments. Forever yours, Joe Lycett. I also put P.S. I'm still considering the environment. He replied, please, please don't send stuff to my office. I'm sorry for sending the first email. I was drunk. Too late, I'd sent him this.
That is how I sign my name.
He then replied, honestly, mate, what the actual fuck? I've apologised and you're still sending stuff. This is my workplace, man. The glitter got everywhere. Oh, I added glitter to the envelope. So I replied, OK, Brian, I'll stop sending you stuff. I should tell you I've finished my considerations as to the environment before printing your emails and have decided to print them regardless. They are in the post to your offices and addressed to the manager. Got a one-word reply from Brian, shit.
Joe Lycett, everyone.
I like writing letters, particularly letters of complaint. And I recently got a parking fine on Christmas Eve in Birmingham city centre, so I wrote this letter of complaint. Now, my friends say that they think I went in too heavy. I don't think I did. I wrote, Dear bastards. I think that's fair, isn't it? I got a parking ticket in Birmingham city centre on the 24th of December. You may be more familiar with this date's more popular name, Christmas Eve. I was in town buying food and toys for some sick and starving children. that I look after in a local orphanage, plus a small gift for my ageing mother, brackets, some novelty chocolates in the shape of male genitalia, aptly named cocklets. When I returned to my car, you can imagine my surprise and disappointment to find a parking ticket was affixed to the windscreen. I cried as Jesus did on Christmas Day. Forgive these sinners, they know not what they do. That's actually Easter, but I got confused. I may have also chased your parking enforcement officer shouting, "Die, Judas." I am willing to offer as payment a bottle of sherry, Christmas cheer and all that. If you fail to pay within 14 days, it will be reduced to half a bottle. If you refuse this offer, I will have to pay the fine using money from the orphanage, which will force me to starve one of the weaker children. His name is Graham. I attached a picture. It's actually me as a child. He's a 6-year-old boy with fair hair and the voice of an angel. I also put, P.S. Just to be absolutely clear, if you do not cancel the fine, I will kill a child.
Well, Jimmy, I've got some of my comedy correspondence. I always leave my Christmas shopping to the last minute, and last year was no exception. On the 23rd of December, I found a fruit bowl, that I thought my mother would quite like, on an online store based in Birmingham, which is where I live. So I emailed them to ask if I could get the delivery quicker than their usual 5 working days, because I needed it for Christmas. I received this email from Chris. He said, "Mr. Lycett, thank you for your email. This item is an online exclusive, therefore we can only arrange it online. Delivery is 5 working days. Kind regards, Chris." I'm not sure his regards were kind, actually. So I replied, "Dear Chris, thank you for your kind regards. The issue is that I need the bowl tomorrow as it's a Christmas gift. Is there no way I can pay extra for next day delivery or pay online and collect it? Very kind regards, Joe." He replied, "Dear Mr. Lycett, we only offer delivery in 5 working days. Unfortunately, kind regards, Chris." Definitely unkind. So I replied, "Chris, I need this bowl for Christmas Day, which occurs famously on the 25th of December. Where does the bowl reside? Is it in physical form in your shop in Birmingham, or does it exist as an ethereal spirit within the internet, manifesting itself only when purchased through your online store? Regards, Joe." He replied, "Mr. Lycett, I see. Well done, Chris. We wouldn't normally, as it is an online exclusive, but as a gesture of goodwill, that can be arranged. If you order through the website and come in later, you can collect. Kind regards, Chris." So I went in, paid £4.99 postage and packaging on the website, went in, collected the bowl, gave it to Mum. She loved it. Very nice Christmas. A few days after New Year, another bowl arrives at the house, doesn't it? Get this email, "Mr. Lycett, I'm contacting you regarding your purchase. We sent you a bowl in error after you collected one from our shop. Could you return it to us? If you would like to keep it, we can arrange payment for it. Kind regards, Chris." So I replied, "Hello, Chris. Here is the bowl," and just attached a picture of the bowl. I said, "Yes, Mr. Lycett, that's the bowl I'm referring to. Could you advise when you'll be returning the bowl?" I replied, "I don't understand, Chris. I returned the bowl in the last email. The bowl is online only." It exists within the email. As a gesture of goodwill, if you send me the £4.99 I paid for postage and packaging, I'll return it in physical form. All my love, Joe. He replied, "Keep the bowl and keep the change," and just attach a picture of a fiver.